Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I'm testing out a foundation that's been all over Instagram for the last, I'd say, about 2 years. It's been all over YouTube as well, and it's one of those products that has been sold out for such a long time, and I managed to get my hands on it because it is now back in stock. And the foundation I'm testing out today is from The Ordinary, and it's their coverage foundation, which is high coverage foundation formula, and this is what it looks like. So the shade that I have is 2.0 YG, which is light medium yellow undertones with gold highlights, and the reason why I got that is because I am self-tanned at the moment. Obviously I don't tan my face, as you can see, because I'm so pale, but I've heard so many amazing things about all of the formulas of The Ordinary, all of their skincare products, all their foundations, and this is basically a foundation with lots of skincare in there. You also get SPF 15 as well. You get 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce, and this is something that I'm really looking for because I'm one of those people that is really into my foundations that has skincare now, and the majority of the time I do use a CC cream, or I use my L'Oreal True Match foundation that has hyaluronic acid in it, and it works really well for my skin. So I try and get skincare in my foundation if I can do, and this seems like it's going to be really good. I've had so many amazing reviews. I do have very oily skin, I always have sensitive skin, I have a lot of redness, as you can see on my face, and I'm hoping that this is going to cover it up. I'm hoping that it's not going to irritate my skin because it is very acne prone and pretty much everything breaks me out, so hopefully this is going to be really good. All I've seen are positive reviews on this, and I haven't actually watched any YouTube videos on it because I want to see how it goes on by myself. I don't want to see what the coverage is like, I don't want to see the best way of putting it on. I just am going to be testing out how I would usually with normal foundations and see how it goes. So they do have 21 different shades in the collection. It starts from 1.0N and goes all the way to 3.3N, which actually looks like it's pretty dark, which I think is really good. It's also alcohol free, oil free, nut free, vegan, gluten free and cruelty free, which is absolutely amazing. And this was only £5.90, which is crazy because I know that a lot of foundations are really high-end ones that people go crazy about, but the fact that this was £5.90 is so good. And if this goes really well, I will be purchasing one for my mum because she loves having skincare in her makeup. She is obsessed with the It Cosmetics CC cream at the moment, so I feel like if this is really good, I'm going to purchase one for her as well because, like I said, it's £5.90. It's super affordable. And on the website it says coverage foundations are full coverage formulations available in a comprehensive shade range across 21 shades. These foundations contain higher pigment levels than our serum foundations, but still offer a smooth finish that avoids a heavy makeup look that can make skin appear more aged. The texture is that of a lightweight non-oily cream, which I think is going to be really good for me because, like I said, I do have very oily skin. The pigments used in these formulations are treated for a rich, highly saturated effect. The foundations offer a semi-matte finish and are compatible with most primers and are designed to work exceptionally well with the primers offering from The Ordinary. So I don't actually have any primers from The Ordinary, but I feel like I might go ahead and purchase something that would be really good for my oily skin. And it also has SPF 15. It doesn't really have a lot of claims on the website. All it says that it has 21 shades divided into 3 categories, 1 for fair to light skin tones, 2 for medium tones and 3 for dark. There's also several different undertones as well. There's pink, red, neutral, yellow. They also have gold and silver highlights as well, so it can match the majority of skin tones, and I'm hoping this is going to be really good and work really well for my skin because, like I mentioned, I haven't actually seen any negative reviews on it. I also do have the serum foundation that they brought out beforehand. I haven't tested it out yet, but I probably will do a first impression on it to see how it goes. But this one is supposed to be a more full coverage version of the serum foundation. I'm hoping this is going to be good. I'm hoping it's not going to look too cakey on my skin, and I'm hoping it's going to go on really well. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in and see how this goes on my skin. So we're all zoomed in and this is what my skin looks like. So as you can see, it's not perfect. I do have some blemishes around here. I do have odd blemishes around different parts of my face. I do have a lot of redness. I don't have even skin tone at all, and we're going to see if this can cover it up. Like it says, it is full coverage foundation, so hopefully it's going to be full coverage and not make me look all cakey or oily or anything like that. And what I do like about it is that it does have a pump on here, and on the website it doesn't really give you many directions. It says shake before use, dispense a small amount into the palm or the back of your hand, smooth on and blend throughout the face, ideally outward from the midpoint of the face, and that is it. Something to bear in mind is that it does tell you to do a patch test before you apply this, so I am a little bit worried because I haven't done the patch test because this is a first impression. So hopefully it's not going to be bad on my skin. Hopefully I'm going to be all good, and fingers crossed it's going to work well. So I'm going to do what it says and I'm going to shake it. And it does sound quite liquidy in there, which makes me a little bit worried. And it doesn't say whether to use a brush, a beauty blender or your hands, so I'm pretty much just going to use a beauty blender and then also use a brush as well and see what's the best way to apply it. So that's 1 and 2, so that's what 2 pumps looks like on my hand, and it looks like it's a good colour match. Always when I do a colour match I get the light medium with yellow undertones, so I think I did well. Most of the time it does work out well, but this one looks like it's going to match me pretty well. So I'm just going to take a bit and dot it around my face, and I'm just going to do one side like I do with all of my first impressions, so we can see how it goes on and see the difference between this side and this side. And it does seem quite nice when you put it on as well. It does seem like a cream. It doesn't seem oily, it just feels like skincare. So I'm going to test with my beauty blender first and see how it goes. This is what I use with all of my foundations and my CC cream, so hopefully it's going to work out really well. I know that some products, they do say that they sink into the beauty blender, which is why if this doesn't work, I'm going to use a brush and see if it's any better. So this was actually really easy to blend out, and I can see a tiny bit of redness right here where I have a blemish. Also around my nose I can see a little bit of redness as well. But you know what? That was really, really good. Like I said, that's one layer of the foundation. Blended out like a dream. Doesn't look oily on the skin. Looks like a demi matte finish like it mentioned. And it just looks really, really good. So as you can see, it's pretty much covered up everything. I'm just going to apply a little bit more on the blemish here, just to see if it can build up. And then pop a little bit more on my nose just around here. And that is what it looks like. So honestly, this builds up so well. It looks nice on the skin. It doesn't look cakey. It looks like my own skin but better. And it built up really well as well. I can see there is a full coverage foundation look. It was medium coverage, and then I just put the extra bits on the redness. But that looks really, really good, and I'm so happy with it. So this is what it looks like beforehand. This is what it looks like afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead, do the other side of my face. We're going to come back and see what it looks like. And this is what the foundation looks like on both sides of my face, and I really do like it. It is full coverage. It was so easy to blend, very, very easily buildable, and I just think it looks so good. The colour match is pretty good. I feel like at the moment in this lighting it is a little bit too light, but I have noticed that it has got a little bit darker since I put it on. I really do like it. I think it looks really good, and I am happy with the way it looks. It did cover up all of my redness, all of my blemishes. It doesn't look cakey at the moment, but I can see right around here where my pores are, it is accentuated a little bit, but I didn't put a pore filling primer on beforehand. I did forget to mention that I used my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water to prime my skin beforehand. This is what I use with all of my foundations. It works out really well, and it just looks really good. Like I mentioned, I will just need to put a pore filling primer on here if I try it out again, but I really like it, and I'm going to go ahead, do the rest of my face, and I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. So I've just finished off my makeup, and this is what it looks like, and it took me about an hour to finish it off because I was filming another video for another first impression while I was doing this. So I do like it. Now it is accentuating my pores around here, and I have noticed that it did come off a little bit on my chin when I was doing the rest of my makeup, and it does come off pretty easily. So I just basically got my beauty blender and just patted it in a little bit more just to make sure that it's all sealed and all good. And I did set it with powder, which is what I do with all of my foundations, because like I mentioned, I do have very oily skin, so I do have to set them, and I think it looks good. I think the rest of my makeup went on really good. The only thing is, I noticed that I was trying to do my bronzer and I was using a powder bronzer, and some other makeup did come off when I was putting the bronzer on, which wasn't the best, so I did have to put a little bit more of foundation on there. Then I used my cream bronzer and then just patted it in, and then it worked out really well. So I think this is one of those foundations where you have to work very, very quickly with it, because I think I did wait for it to set a little bit too long, just because I was filming another video at the time, so I think it did take a little bit longer for me to put the rest of my makeup on. But it does look good. The rest of my makeup looks really nice as well. My concealer went on really easily. The only thing is, on my nose, it does not look that good, because a lot of foundations do have a problem with my nose, and it does look a bit red and it does look a bit patchy on there. But the rest of my makeup does look really good, and I am really happy with it. I think it went on really easily, it built up really well, and I think it is, like I mentioned, one of the foundations that you have to work very, very quickly with. And I do like the fact that it has skincare in there. At the moment it's not irritating my skin, so hopefully I'm not going to get a reaction. But I'm liking the way that it looks. I'm hopeful that it's going to last throughout the whole day. So it's now 1:30 in the afternoon, so I have had this foundation on since 12:30, and I'm going to come back later on today and let you know how it goes throughout the day and let you know if I like it or if I don't. Hi guys, so I'm back and it's now 8:30 in the evening, so I've had this foundation on now for 8 hours, and I'm going to let you know how it's gone throughout the whole day. So looking at my skin at the moment, I can see that it has still come off on a couple of areas, and I am looking very, very shiny right here where I mainly get oily and where my foundations come off. So from far away it does actually look okay. Up close on my nose you can tell straight away that I have a lot of foundation that's come off on there. Like I mentioned beforehand, it's one of those where it looked like that it wasn't going to stick to my nose anyway, and with some of my foundations I do have that issue and I have no idea why, but it has come off on the sides of my nose and also on the tip of my nose. Obviously the nose was the worst place for it to come off of, and then you can see that my forehead is oily, and you know what, not too bad to be honest with how it's come off, because I have tried some foundations before where it's come off absolutely crazy around my forehead, and this one has come off on a couple of areas and it just looks really shiny, so I feel like I would just need to blot and powder a little bit more. And then my pores are very, very accentuated, as you can see, and I did mention that when I first put it on. I said that they were very accentuated, so if I try this out again I would need to use a pore filling primer, which I am going to use because I am going to test this out a little bit more to see how it goes. And you know what, it's done pretty alright. So on my chin it has come off as well, and that is somewhere where all my foundations tend to come off anyway, because I do have a lot of redness and for some reason I do get oily around there and I have absolutely no idea why. So I think the foundation has done good. It's not my favourite foundation, but to be honest I do have very oily skin, so I thought that it would come off on different areas, and I didn't use a mattifying primer because at the moment I'm not using mattifying primers, but I do feel like I probably need to use one with this foundation and powder a little bit more to see how it goes throughout the whole day. But it is good, and it did build up pretty well as well. So I do know that if I was to wear this out on a night out, if I wore it to work, then it was coming off during the day, I would just need to put some foundation on the different areas, because when I mentioned earlier on that it was coming off on certain areas of my face when I was putting on my bronzer, it was very, very easy to put more foundation on and it didn't look cakey or anything like that. So I did really like it when I first put it on. I don't feel like it looked cakey. It looked like you could tell that I was wearing foundation after I did the rest of my makeup, and that is something that I don't really like, but it does remind me of the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. That's just what it looked like on the skin. The texture, everything was pretty much exactly the same. That one is also a full coverage foundation. It is a concentrated one just like this one, and it did remind me of that, and I do really like that foundation. This one doesn't last as long as a Marc Jacobs one does, but to be honest it is more affordable, and this does have skin benefits in it as well, which I think is good. Plus it has SPF 15, which is a really good thing as well to have in foundations. I feel like it is a full coverage foundation. I feel like it lasted good for about 6 hours, but I do feel like I would need to blot and powder a little bit more, and then like I mentioned put on a pore filling primer and probably use a setting spray or a mattifying primer, just because of how oily my skin is naturally anyway. With the shade range I do feel like it's pretty good, but I do feel like they need to have some darker skin tones in there, because they do have 21 shades, which I think is really good, because they do have super fair, they do have quite a lot in the middle, which I do feel like they need to branch out and have some darker ones in there, and then they do have some quite deep ones as well at the end, which I think is good that they do also cater for the people with dark skin tones, because a lot of the time people that do have super fair skin tones also get missed out as well, and I think it's good that they did put both of those in. I think it's good. I just feel like that they need to sort of merge it a little bit more in the middle just to have some extra shades, but I do feel like it's good. I do like the foundation, and I am going to be testing it out a little bit more like I mentioned, and it's super affordable. It's just over £5, so you can get it on quite a lot of different websites, and I will be testing out the serum foundation as well, because that one is supposed to be really good as well. And at the moment I haven't really been wearing makeup because I have been working from home, so my skin has been really nice and fresh. I've just been putting moisturiser on there, so I feel like using the serum foundation might be quite good for me, because it is a light to medium coverage foundation, and I feel like I am more used to that, and because I pretty much haven't been wearing makeup for 2 weeks, this to me is completely different. But like I mentioned, I do like the foundation. I am going to test it out a little bit more, and I think the colour match was really good as well. I will probably be doing a full review to let you know how both the foundations go, and I hope that you enjoy this video. If you've tried out this foundation, if you like it or if you don't, just comment down below to let me know, and make sure that you give this video a very big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video guys. Bye!